So here's an interesting take slash idea coming in from Joe Goodberry on Twitter. And he is a known Twitter personnel on Twitter for the Cincinnati Bengals. We've talked about it many times. 14 years on this Bird app. Bengals, NFL prospects. He has a lot of followers for a reason. He's a very smart individual. And what he talks about is for the Bengals fans, here's why it's hard to find a starting right tackle in the draft. Find a guy that's supposed to be at pick 28 or 60. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. It is really hard to. Because average board ranking, Peter Sheronsky is going to be the best, or he's going to be the first tackle off the board. He's probably going off the board at pick 11 to the Tennessee Titans. Okay? He's going. Paris Johnson, he's probably going off the board within 11 to 15. He's going. Broderick Jones, 11 to 20. He's going. Okay? Darnell Wright, probably off the board anywhere from 18 to 25. Off the board. Okay? You see what I'm saying? All these tackles off the board by pick 28. Okay, now we're getting into Cyrus Torrence. He's off the board. Most likely right now, as funny as it is, because this is what people are saying, that if Bijan Robinson's, the whole narrative is if Bijan Robinson falls to Dallas and Dallas will take him within a split second, they're not going to go anywhere but Bijan Robinson because they just cut Zeke Elliott. Based on what I have heard from a lot of Dallas sources, they want a Cyrus Torrence. And they will take him over Bijan Robinson. They want a guard to protect Dak. So it's very possible they go with him over Bijan, which I think is crazy. But at the same time, it's possible. Jerry Jones, though. Jerry Jones would be like, can Torrance play running back? No. We go Bijan. But no, I think they very possibly could go Dallas, go him. But again, Cincinnati's not going guard. They want right tackle. So now we are in a weird scenario. Antoine Harrison. We talked about John before. DeJuan Jones. Steve. Matthew Bergeron. Cody March. I mean, these are all orange or yellow players. Which, again, means that their draft stock going down. Because they're not as good as... scouts are not thinking they're as good as they really are. Right? Some scouts are like, these guys, we don't know if they're really that great. And the problem with this draft class, right, is not every single tackle in this draft class is disciplined / ready to go. Some of them are going to need a year or two to really develop. And we saw Duke Tobin came out and said, in this game now, especially nowadays, you can't draft somebody for the future. You can't. You can't draft somebody because in 4 years, that guy is gone. In 4 years, if he doesn't pan out, he's off. He's off the team. He's either not in football or he's in football in another team. You can't draft for the future. You got to draft for the now. Who is going to help me out right now become a starting player for our team? Right? Who is going to win us this game? And this is why, again, I'm really starting to lean toward, for the 28th overall pick, a corner or a tight end. If Bijan's available, we take Bijan. But a corner or a tight end. Those two guys are really where I'm leaning toward. Especially as I'm learning more and more about these tackles. Especially because, again, all these guys are off the board, right? You're now looking at Antoine Harrison, DeJuan Jones, Matthew Bergeron. I like him, but again, there's a reason why Matthew Bergeron is considered a second-round pick. Not considered a 28th overall pick. None of these guys are considered 28th overall picks, right? So by the time you are in the second round here, and this is why, again, a lot of people are like, well, why don't you just draft him anyway? Why did you draft him anyway? Because he's not worth a first-round pick. If you can go out there and get someone who's a better player at another position than him, why would you not go take a cornerback who's the best player available and go get him over taking a guy who's going to go in the second round? Why would you not go take especially because, again, from Antoine Harrison here, these are all question marks. Question marks. We don't know what they're going to be. They're not polished. We don't know. So why would you not take... Would you take Michael Mayer or would you take these guys? Dalton Kincaid to take these guys. I'm even going to a point where I take Darnell Washington over some of these guys. Because and Darnell Washington, by the way, is not polished either. He's a second round pick at this moment in time, too. But it's like, I know at least with Darnell Washington, I'm going to get some blocking ability from him. And if he is a liability, okay, I'll put in Irv Smith and have him as a blocker. Strictly as a blocker. If he can't catch the football, he doesn't pan out. But again, I would even take, at this point in time, I'm even falling myself away from taking Darnell Washington, the 28th overall pick. But at least he has the intangibles I can do something with. But I'd rather take another star, like a corner or another tight end. No tight ends available. Than probably taking corner or pass rusher at this point. But yeah, so for example, Antoine Harrison, right now he's mocked around the 40th on the board. It says right here 34th, but it says that his average board ranking is 40th. He's dropping. DeJuan Jones, I've talked about many times. I love this guy. I really do. But he is the biggest question mark at right tackle in this draft. Because he has the intangibles to be the best tackle in this draft, but also the intangibles not to be the best tackle. And it's so crazy. Because it's like, on paper, his body, his numbers, everything. But there's so many question marks with how he's going to pan out to the NFL level. And a lot of people think he's not going to pan out correctly. Matthew Bergeron, again, like I said before, he's a second round pick. And again, you gotta keep in mind, we're picking at 28 and 60. So you're going to tell me that at 28, you'd rather go with questionable tackles over going with someone like, for example, a star corner that could be a star corner for you for the foreseeable future. A star pass rusher. A star tight end. Possibly Bijan Robinson. And then at pick 60, here's the problem. Going. Probably going. And now we're looking at Matthew Bergeron as the starter. Literally the only player available. Maybe. He even is now being mocked at pick 55. So he's going probably too by pick 28. So now you're in the ballpark range of, okay, well, are we going in the second round now? Are we going to take someone like Sidney Brown? Or are we going to go with someone like, again, at this point in time, pick 60, this is where you're talk about this range. Jalen Duncan, Tyler Steen, who they could be great players. They really could be great players. But they're most likely going to be backups. And that's not a problem. But you could take a star running back in the second round. You could take Zach. You could take Tank Bigsley. You could take a lot of different running backs, tight ends. What if, Darnell Washington's still available in the second round there? You could take him. There's a lot of question marks about this draft. And then we have the fourth round, Blake Freeman, who is the biggest question mark right now to a lot of people from BYU. And then so on and so on. And the guy I really like a lot is actually two players. I really love Nick Silveri, because he can obviously, he's right tackle, but he could easily make it to guard. And a lot of scouts want him to play guard just because he would be so much better at guard. But he's a possible player to talk about. And then Warren McGlennon, I really like him in the 5th, 6th round. Again, but these are 5th, 6th round picks. These are not starters. If you're going to take your franchise tackle, your right tackle, you're going to take him in the 1st or 2nd round. And there's not many players available in the 1st, 2nd round you're going to take who's going to become a franchise guy. A lot of these guys have potential, but as you go down the draft board, you get less and less potential. Unless Cincinnati trades up on draft night, gives up Jonah Williams and a couple of picks, and goes up there to the pick 15, 16, 17, 18, you're not going to get these star franchise right tackles. But with Collins potentially coming back, as he said he would, by week 1, you have Jackson Carman, who is busting his butt to get back and become a starter, and he was a 2nd round pick in 2021. You invested a lot of capital in him. I don't think Cincinnati's worried about right tackle. I really don't think they are. You have Jonah, Collins coming back by week 1 apparently, and then you also have Jackson Carman, who is busting his butt to become the starter. There's so many positions in this draft. I'm not saying Cincinnati won't take tackle, but it's looking less and less likely like they're actually going to go after it as much, as heavy as people think they are. The problem last year was offensive line. That's no question, right? That's 1,000%. But the problem also was, if you remember on defense, was getting after the quarterback. Ranked 28th at getting after the quarterback last season. That's a problem. You need to find a solution. Cheeto went down with injury. That's stuff happens, right? At the end of the day, when I say cornerback number one, I'm saying best player available. I'm not saying you're targeting corner like, oh, if you don't get a corner early, you're absolutely fluffed, because no. Cheeto comes back by week 1 of this season. We're going to have Cam Taylor-Britt back. We're going to have Mike Hilton 100%. And then that fourth guy, if you go and pick up Eli Apple or Trey Flowers again, it's possible. Or you just go and draft someone in the 5th or 6th round. Or again, you could go 1st round. So you don't have to go heavy for it. I'm just saying, I think what they're going to do this year is just go best player available. And they're not a needy team for any certain one position. They're not. Safety is definitely one of those positions they're going to be targeting in this draft. But unless Brian Branch is on the board at pick 28, they're not taking safety early. Especially not 1st round. They might take 2nd round, possibly. But it just simply isn't there. Unless they want, really are desperate and say like, oh, well, we like the 2nd guy at the board. Because the 2nd safety is decent, Sidney Brown, and then it kind of drops off. You guys are watching. See you guys next one.